fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. I just know, character take you a long way, and I just don't agree with the character, actions that he took.
The problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money, and there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money.
Imagine spending hours in the gym, pushing yourself in private, only to see those moments exposed for everyone to watch. That's exactly what happened with Terence Crawford, and now he's furious at Floyd Mayweather. Crawford says he's disappointed, frustrated, and expected far more respect from someone who claims to be close with him. For him, it's not just about leaked footage, it's about trust being broken, and he believes a true champion should never be the one crossing that line.
I had disliked a lot of things that he was saying, and how he was acting, being that, me, I'm a real individual. I just felt like, we was all cool at one point in time, and, when the Errol Spence fight was getting mentioned and talked about and, signed, I just felt like he just did a lot of fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. I just know, character take you a long way, and I just don't agree with the character, actions that he took.
Picture this: you've already proven yourself, your legacy is untouchable, and every fan agrees you're one of the greatest. That's where Terence Crawford stands right now. Eddie Hearn stirred the pot by saying maybe Crawford should walk away from the sport. On one side, Hearn respects that Crawford has cleaned out divisions, crushed top opponents, and secured his spot in boxing history. Retiring at this peak would lock in his image forever, the way legends of the past have done. But on the other side, Hearn also admits the money game is too real to ignore. With Saudi backing and crossover events changing boxing, Crawford could cash in with record-breaking paydays, even if the fights aren't legacy-defining. For Hearn, it's that constant battle, the purity of legacy versus the temptation of massive paycheck.
Sorry? Should Crawford retire?
Do you know what? Someone said the other day, and it's very true, because I actually said it about Usyk. We've got a real tendency, haven't we, to kind of try and retire people off. Do you know what I mean? Like I said with Usyk, I think now he should retire. And everyone's like, why do you want him to retire? It's like, I just think it's a great way to go out. I actually also think that Crawford could move down and win a world title at 160. And that would make him, what, 6 division champ? 5? 35, 40, 47, 54, 6 division champion. But the problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money, and there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money. So Shakur, who's obviously very close to him, seemed to say so maybe that's it.
Think about it: when you've climbed every mountain and proved yourself against the very best, what's really left to chase? That's exactly Floyd Schofield's take on Terence Crawford. In his eyes, Crawford has already done it all: pound-for-pound supremacy, world titles across divisions, and victories over elite opponents of his generation. Schofield isn't questioning Crawford's greatness. He's warning about the risks of pushing further when there's nothing left to prove. If Crawford does step back in the ring, Schofield believes it should only be against young lions like Virgil Ortiz or Frank Martin, fighters who represent the next era. It's a sign of the generational shift, testing whether the legend can still handle the fire of the new wave. But Schofield's words carry respect. He makes it clear that Crawford's legacy is already sealed, and stepping away now could protect that flawless image forever.
I feel like Crawford, he could retire if he wants. I feel like if he does get another fight, I would love to see him in there with Virgil or Duran. I feel like those are both great fights, but those are fights we just gotta see. We just gotta see those fights before. I feel like those are the only 2 fights I would entertain.
Not a rematch, maybe a rematch with Crawford and Canelo?
I feel like it wasn't close enough. It wasn't close enough.
Really?
If it was close, maybe, but it just was like, it wasn't close.
Everywhere you look, fans are still arguing about one thing: who would have won if prime Floyd Mayweather had faced prime Terence Crawford? It's the kind of fantasy matchup that keeps boxing debates alive. Floyd, with his untouchable defense and genius level IQ, versus Crawford with his adaptability and ruthless finishing instinct. On paper, it's the clash of perfection against perfection. But reality tells a different story. Mayweather is long past his prime. His reflexes and stamina aren't what they used to be, and any fight today would feel more like spectacle than a true test. That's why people call it a dream matchup, because the truth is, it will likely remain just that, a dream.
So yeah, everybody, so this is a good question that the ring put out. So Terence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather, a fantasy fight that will never happen. Now, this is a really good question. Who will win between these two? Me personally, if this was old Floyd Mayweather, well, I'm going to say pretty boy Floyd, I'm talking about like the younger version of Floyd Mayweather wins. You're talking probably prime Floyd Mayweather versus prime Terence Crawford. You could see Floyd Mayweather beating Terence Crawford, but you're talking about money Floyd versus Terence Crawford. I see Terence Crawford stopping him in the later rounds due to Floyd Mayweather's passive style and Philly shell. I believe he'll melt. Terence Crawford would just break him, I think. People forget what Manny Pacquiao was able to do on Floyd Mayweather, have success with him certain parts of the fight, and people just need to see, Floyd Mayweather's, I would say, fights, later down the years. I think Crawford would just be able to break that defense. I don't know. The thing is about Terence Crawford, he has a very, very awkward style, very awkward foot movement, footwork. This is the thing. A lot of people were thinking, no, nobody beats Floyd. Or if you try to compare somebody else, no, this man will beat Floyd. Floyd would beat everybody. I don't think it's a case of Terence Crawford, everybody. I think Terence Crawford would have been the man to actually beat Floyd. Honestly, for what he did to Canelo Alvarez, he beat a 168 Canelo Alvarez. 168 Canelo Alvarez.
When it comes to Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford, analysts keep reminding fans of one thing: greatness isn't just about numbers. Sure, Floyd's 50-0 record and his ability to stay unbeaten across generations is almost impossible to replicate. And yes, Crawford has something Floyd never did: undisputed titles in multiple divisions. But stacking their resumes side by side doesn't tell the full story, because they dominated in different eras. Floyd built his legacy on global names and record-breaking pay-per-views, while Crawford carved his through clean, dominant victories. That's why analysts say accomplishments on paper don't always decide who's better in the ring. Context, style, and timing, those are the factors that truly shape the answer.
Mayweather versus Terence Crawford is the topic of this video, and someone posted this: number of world champion fighters beaten, Floyd with 23, Terence with only 11. But my response to this is, being more accomplished does not mean you're better than someone. By example, Canelo has 18 former world champions beaten, Terence has 11. So you could argue that Canelo's more accomplished. Meanwhile, Terence just whooped them over the course of 12 rounds over the weekend. We all saw it. Plus, more accomplished fighters lose to lesser accomplished fighters all the time, so that's a bad argument. Let's talk skill for skill. Terence Crawford has knockout power in both hands. He can switch stances. He's not a stationary target. He has good footwork. He knows how to counterpunch. He knows how to fight on the outside and on the inside. He can make it dirty. He knows how to box and he knows how to fight. There's a difference. Guys like Shakur Stevenson, for example, they know how to box. When it comes to actually getting down and dirty, the jury is still out on one Shakur Stevenson, just by example. Terence Crawford, I think, if you look at the names on Floyd's list here, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo, Marcos Maidana, Cotto, and the list goes on and on, I think Terence Crawford has a shot at beating all those guys. I don't think anybody on that list jumps off the page and goes, oh my God, I think he smokes Terence Crawford. You can't say that about anybody on any of these guys' lists and names here. So yeah, that's my take on this, man. Maybe the only guy is Gennady Golovkin. I could see Gennady Golovkin giving Terence a really hard fight, especially at that weight. But remember, Canelo lost to Gennady. Gennady shouldn't even be on this list. He's only on the list because the judges are in Canelo's back pocket. So, that's a whole nother argument. But yeah, that's my take on this, guys. Skill for skill, Terence Crawford might be one of the best of all time. And that's okay. Like, it's okay to accept that, guys. It's fine. Let me know what you think in the comments below, whether you agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. Just join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.
Zab Judah's opinion hits different because he's actually been in the ring with Floyd Mayweather and knows firsthand what that level of skill feels like. So when he calls Terence Crawford the king of this era, people listen. Judah even reminded fans that Canelo Alvarez once hinted Crawford might be better than Floyd, a comment that set off endless debates. For Judah, it's simple. Crawford has proven complete dominance, no matter the division. Unlike many fighters who lose their edge when moving up, Crawford has carried his power, timing, and composure into every weight class. Coming from Judah, it feels almost like a passing of the torch. Floyd ruled his time. But today, Crawford wears the crown.
Once you knock him out, you know what I'm saying? The size will be a factor. None of that was nothing.
How did you score it?
Huh?
How did you score the fight?
I think I gave Canelo about 3 rounds. About
Really?
3 rounds. Yeah, about 3 rounds. How did you score? You just score about sound about fair?
What's that?
Sounds about right?
I had it closer, but there's loads of different scores.
Okay, I had 2 rounds.
You gave him 2 rounds.
I had 2 rounds. Yeah, he ain't do anything. I gave him a possible 3 rounds. So if I play space, we gave him 2 in a possible.
Where did you put him in the all-time list? 5-weight world champion.
Who?
3-weight undisputed, Terence Crawford.
Who?
Terence Crawford.
He's number 1 right now. Number 1. This is his generation. This is his timeline. He is the king right now.
Just seen in the press conference, Canelo said that Crawford's better than Mayweather. What do you think?
He's not lying. He fought him. He should know. How can somebody tell somebody that fought both of these guys, that, he know.
Yeah.
If anybody would know, Canelo would know.
What do you think's next for both?
I don't know.
Too early? You'd like to see a rematch?
Probably rematch. Rematches always sound good. But in a rematch, it'd be the same thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Matter of fact, in a rematch, I'm predicting stoppage earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think so too.
Yeah, I think so.
What's up?
My boys are dogs,
Yeah.
trust me.
Thank you.
I was watching Bill City.
Terence Crawford didn't shy away from addressing Canelo's perspective, saying it carries more weight than what most fans or analysts think, simply because Canelo has shared the ring with both him and Floyd Mayweather. But Crawford also made one thing crystal clear: timing matters. When Floyd fought Canelo, he was still young, raw, and developing. By the time Crawford faced him, Canelo was a polished, seasoned champion at super middleweight. That difference, Crawford argues, changes the meaning of each victory. Beating a matured Canelo isn't the same as outclassing the early version, and by pointing this out, Crawford managed to defend his own win while still respecting what Mayweather accomplished.
He was in the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. One where he felt like he was at the best, and another where he felt like he was at a disadvantage when he had a rehydration clause and he was younger. So, I don't know, I don't go off of that. Floyd is the best fighter, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
One thing that I thought was really interesting about the fight, I always love watching you switch stances as effortlessly as you do. You didn't do that a lot in this fight. You didn't have to. Were you expecting not to have to?
No, I felt like I could have, but why do something when something else is working?
Easy answer.
Jeff Mayweather was quick to jump in and defend Floyd, reminding everyone that context often gets lost in these comparisons. When Floyd fought Canelo, he wasn't in his physical prime anymore. He relied less on speed and explosiveness, and more on experience, reflexes, and timing. And even with that decline, he completely shut down a dangerous young Canelo, something Jeff says fans should never overlook. For him, comparing Floyd's version of Canelo to Crawford's version is unfair, because both fights happened at totally different stages of their careers. His point is simple. Boxing history often gets rewritten, but the circumstances behind each fight matter just as much as the outcome.
Plus, if we remember, Canelo at that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. and then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he took him, into deep waters. So
yeah, what was Canelo? What, 20 something? 20 what? 23, 25?
Yeah, he was. Very very young in the game, obviously.
Yeah, very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah, but
man, that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people. But
how you at the top of your career in your prime? You in your prime? You ain't in your prime when you at 36. That's not your prime.
Did he lose? I mean,
your prime is in your 20s.
It's different for different people.
Yeah, okay. Well, so, and that's why Canelo is saying what he's saying.
But, don't you?
Want to make himself look like he did something great.
Buddy McGirt broke down Terence Crawford's brilliance in a way that hit home. He explained how Crawford took charge of every detail of the fight, setting the pace, controlling the distance, and dictating the exchanges from start to finish. Where so many of Canelo's opponents fell into traps, Crawford never once let him dictate the rhythm. McGirt said it reminded him of the way Floyd used to outthink his challengers, but with one key difference: Crawford added his own twist of aggression and killer instinct. To McGirt, this wasn't just another victory, it was a statement proof that Crawford deserves a spot in the conversation about the greatest technicians the sport has ever seen.
Yes.
Like, what fight were they watching?
Right.
I mean, it's. I don't know, man. I don't know what some of these guys be doing in this game, man. Some people, in situations like that, they should ask them, listen, just turn in your license, bro. Because there's no way in hell the fight was that close.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. It's just, it's not fair. It's not fair. You get a guy like Terence got here and dominate from beginning to end, and then you find out he needed the last 2 rounds to win. That's scary, man.
It is, and you see how you just mentioned scary. Now, a lot of people are saying, buddy, that type of beating, he's not going to want a rematch. But looking at those scorecards and knowing that, hey, you wasn't too far behind, even though, he did mention that, he's better than Mayweather. But, I mean, what's your thoughts? Do you feel like that was such a beating that Canelo wouldn't want a rematch?
No, I think that, in all honesty, personally, I think that Canelo's at that stage in his career right now, that it's a rematch he don't need. He don't need it. You know what I mean? What we saw that night, that's the stage Canelo's at right now. He's fought everybody, he's did everything, but, he passed the torch to the right guy. He passed the torch to the right guy. He lost it to Terence fair and square, and he passed the torch. So, if you're gonna have another fight, cool, but you don't need to. You have nothing. He has nothing to prove. He fought Terence and nobody else would.
The analyst broke it down like this: Floyd Mayweather wasn't just a fighter, he was a phenomenon. His charisma, his ability to play both hero and villain, and of course that undefeated streak, made every fight an event. Fans tuned in either to witness greatness or to pray for his downfall. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, has never been a blockbuster pay-per-view name, but analysts insist that doesn't diminish his brilliance inside the ring. In fact, some even argue Crawford's raw skill may surpass Floyd's, pointing to his seamless stance switches, his mastery of range, and his ability to finish opponents with precision. Where Floyd built his legacy on defense and caution, Crawford does it with calculation and ruthless intent. That makes him not only just as tough to beat, but in many eyes, even more exciting to watch.
Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. Who wins this fight? I'm going with Terence Crawford, and I don't think that's unpopular or crazy to say. I think most people will agree with me. I understand Floyd Mayweather has a lot of fans out there, but the truth is, as great as Floyd Mayweather is, Terence Crawford is one of one. And I say that because who else has knockout power in both hands, is able to switch stances between orthodox and southpaw so seamlessly, while having great footwork. It's not like Terence Crawford is some stationary target or a flat-footed fighter that's going to be chasing Floyd around. Terence Crawford knows how to cut the ring off. He has tremendous ring IQ. And not only is he a great boxer, but he's a great fighter. He'll be able to make it dirty. If he is on the inside with Floyd, that power will carry him far. And I just don't see how Floyd will be able to beat a Terence Crawford. I really don't see it. I understand Floyd's defense is incredible, but he is smaller than Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford would have a significant reach advantage on Floyd Mayweather. I believe Terence Crawford would also be taller than Floyd Mayweather, as well as all the skillful and technical aspects of what I just laid out prior. So I don't understand how anybody could pick Floyd Mayweather to beat Terence Crawford. Styles make fights, and I believe Terence has the style to beat one Floyd Mayweather. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. Join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.
Terence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. Who takes it? For me, it's Crawford, and honestly, I don't think that's a wild or unpopular opinion. As legendary as Floyd is, Crawford is built different. He's a complete package, knockout power in both hands, the ability to switch seamlessly between orthodox and southpaw, and elite footwork that keeps him from ever being a stationary target. This isn't a flat-footed fighter chasing Floyd around the ring. Crawford knows how to cut the ring off. He has the IQ to adapt, and when it gets rough on the inside, his power makes the difference. Now, of course, Floyd's defense is all-time great, nobody can deny that. But size matters too. Crawford is taller, longer, and naturally bigger. Add that to the technical tools I just laid out, and it's hard for me to see how Floyd gets the better of him. Styles make fights, and Crawford's style, in my eyes, is the one that beats Mayweather. But that's my take. What about you? Drop your thoughts in the comments, whether you agree or disagree. Let's keep the debate going. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Plenty more is on the way.